a really big part in us making it as a community. Can you talk a little bit about building a business and a radio empire, uh, and how it stretches out and how that plays into the local community as well?
Well, from the business side, Mike, it's the model that I have is called the 4 A's. 4 A's. And it's a very simple but in depth model that we follow every day, very judiciously and very disciplined. Number one A you have to have is you have to have an audience. If you don't have an audience, you're basically talking into a diary podcast. You have to have an audience. You have to engage people. You have to be interesting. You have to have content. Content is king. People will come to you if you're interesting, you challenge them, you inspire them, you teach them, or you aggravate them. One or the other, but content is king, but you have to have an audience.
The aggravation factor is big as well, because you can generate activity with aggravation and being a person who can, I guess, get the crowd riled up.
Well, to a certain extent, if the aggravation goes over the top, your listeners aren't going to come back. So, like, you can't be a crank, right?
Okay.
Because people can just deal with so much of that. I mean, I'm on in the morning, 6 to 10. The morning drive audience is very different than 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's very different. People want fast. They want music. They want to get inspired for the day. They want to get fired up. They don't. That's why in 6 a.m. I don't do policy wonkery stuff. I don't fight with people. Who wants to be fighting with somebody when you're shaving? I mean, give me a break. Or you're trying to make breakfast for your kids, or getting your makeup on and get ready for work, and you got two people fighting and yelling at each other. It's just not going to fly. So you don't want that, and I also don't think that my audience is particularly interested in this. What the Richmond Squirrels did that night. That's why we don't bother to cover them like my competitors do. So the first A for your business is you got to have an audience. When you have an audience, then you can get advertisers. No advertisers, no company.
Right. As I
Right?
say to people, this microphone ain't free.
Yeah, well,
And that's
somebody's got to
there's a
turn on the
cost.
lights, pay the electricity, pay Al, all the stuff we do, pay keep us on in the tower, pay the FCC fees, pay our employees. You got to, and I haven't gone the, big donor funded route
Okay.
like some of my competitors have, because that's okay for a time, but the money always runs out. So in order to endure, you have to have advertisers. In order to have advertisers, you have to have an audience. So they tie together, because you got to get your advertisers a return on their investment. They're advertising with you. They expect to get something back in the form of customers and revenue. So you got to get an audience. Then you have to get the advertisers. The third A you have to get is access. You have to get access to movers and shakers in the community, because the access gives you a bigger audience.
True.
Somebody's coming on my show, they tell all their friends on Facebook, they tune me in. The access also builds you better content, because now I'm talking to President Trump, Mike, Vice President Pence, Abigail Spanberger, Nick Freitas, whatever, the person, Kim Gray,
Kim
running
Gray's
for
going to
mayor.
be on.
Yeah, fabulous lady. I'm for her. But you have to have access. Helps you build your audience, builds your content, and then it's what I call the fourth A is attention. You have to get attention in the media. I want to be quoted in the Washington Post. I want to be quoted in the trade journals. I want to get on TV. I want to get attention, because attention gets me better access, which gets me a better audience, which gets me better advertisers.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the way to build. That's the way to build a
Not
network.
not easy to do.
No, it's not.